The problem 90% of the time is the process and not people.
Ooh. I actually just thought I was like, you're going to say
Goodness.
the people. The people are the problem.
No. I mean, I believe people are the problem. Let me tell, and I mean that. And what I mean by that is like
Yeah.
we need to hold people accountable,
100%.
and not just systems
To fix the process, 100%.
And
because it's
people,
so easy.
yeah.
Don't lose your thought. I love that you
Yeah.
said that, because in all of this, I don't want to, like, in moments in divorcing, at least for a chapter from the corporate world, I can have guilt, and it's kind of a lot to unravel it all. But what I'll say is the accountability matters. And it, for me, I'm still in it. It's like appreciating all the individuals on a personal level, and also like accountability of what's being perpetuated and upheld.
Yeah, that's right. Because on one hand, what I've observed in my experience so far, right, is that processes, systems, whatever you want to call them, they are incentivize people to act and behave a certain way. And so if there's something broken, it's probably the system, it's probably the process, right? That said, we're never going to have progress if we just blame a system or blame a process, because there are people benefiting from the systems and processes very explicitly, and they should be held accountable. Yeah. So even though, I don't believe in like quote unquote blaming people, and I think blaming the process is right. It's like blame the process but hold people accountable, and hold the people who are taking advantage of the system or most benefiting at the expense of others accountable. So like when folks talk about blaming capitalism, right, which like I understand that and I understand the anger there, but let's hold the people who are benefiting the most from capitalism at the expense of others accountable, like individual people, and not even like individual corporations, like the people who are making the most money at the expense of other people's suffering. They should be held, like name them and hold them accountable specifically as individuals. But, don't blame, when women are facing extreme levels of burnout now, like post-COVID, new mothers especially, like don't put all of the onus on women to fix that problem. Obviously, we should be accountable for our own life, and we have to advocate for ourselves. But of course, that is a derivative of the system that we're in and the processes that we're in. So it's like making sure that you're understanding where I don't want to say blame, but you know what I mean? Like where the trouble is, and like who we need to hold accountable to addressing it.
I'm not putting it on you to do it all yourself, but how do you think we do that?
Well, I've thought a lot about this, especially lately. I think that like the first thing you do is you take care of yourself. I mean, this is like, this is like a trope or something at this point, but like it's true. Take care of yourself, and then build your community and take care of your community. There's like as far as I can tell, there's like no downside to doing that. Like, like there's no downside to engaging in your community, one that already exists. And by the way, it doesn't have to be local. If you like, are involved in a community that's more global or digital or whatever, where do you fit, and like how can you foster that and build that community? I do suggest doing local community engagement because you'll be exposed to people maybe outside of your bubble, perhaps. But community is like where the change happens, and that I think it can be really frustrating or overwhelming to feel like, oh, I'm not doing enough to make change or to make the world better or address these problems that we have. But when you start being involved in your community, you'll see those results. Like you'll see the people benefiting from. And I don't mean just like going out and volunteering. I mean like checking out books from the library.
Right.
Okay. And you're talking to your librarian, and he or she is telling you about the events that they have. And like, that's building community, and that's important. And so, and it helps you realize we're all connected, and that the things that you're doing do have impact.
Yeah. And then it's beautifully said. And I think and I've grappled with this too, and this can be like a part two, but the process that you just described, that for me is healing what's broken, on a local level, on a national and global level, can that ripple into those corporate structures? Like, can we heal it, or do we have
Oh.
to rebuild it? I think we both sit in that contemplative space right now.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. I mean, I guess like on one hand, so much of these structures and systems are being broken down whether we want them to
Yeah.
or not right now, that I think then the positive side of that is there is this opportunity to lean into community building and like rebuild them in the way that we want to. But I also firmly believe that like if we get so caught up on like tearing down the system as the only means to driving change, we will never do anything, or anything we do will never be enough. And frankly, it's just not true. Like if you take action and it's only 50% of what you want it to be, that's still 50% impact. Like it's, I
It's
think it's
something.
misguided. Yeah, exactly. Like, and sometimes not going all the way means you can make more change than if you would only accept 100%, if that makes sense.